recording. Great. Thank you so much, Este, for taking out time. It was really great chatting last week, and I also happened to got a chance to read some of the articles online about you, and felt like it was a really inspiring journey. And felt like a lot of people would benefit by understanding more about who you are, what pushed you to be a coach, and in general your journey so far. So on that note, I'm going to hand it over to you for you to just talk more about yourself.
Thank you very much for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Yes, what would you like to know?
I think particularly nothing in particular, but it would be great to just understand what motivated you to be a coach. Uh, how has the journey been so far in terms of uh, helping others build a better physical and mental life? And you also started your own brand, which is Level Up Nutrition. So if you could just talk more on these lines, that would be really helpful.
Okay, Level Up Nutrition is all about helping people to take their health and their well-being to a next level. But my goal is to transcend the realm of just providing a service and instead advocate a lifestyle that integrates the physical, the mental, and the emotional well-being of the client. So for myself, I struggled with disordered eating from my late teens until my late 30s. And in my early 20s, I was also diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. I received fertility treatment later. My twins were born, and about 2 years later, I developed a fibroid cyst in my uterus, which had to be removed as well. So I had a partial hysterectomy at the age of 28. Now, all of this compounded to a lot of health issues. I was taking a lot of medication for different conditions. You know how it is. You go to the doctor, they prescribe a medication, you go back 3 months back, they prescribe something else to contradict the side effects of the other medication. And I ended up using all of this. And I just felt terrible. And I came to the point where I was just tired. I was tired of going to the gym 6 times a week and seeing no results. And I was tired of starving myself and just watching the scale creeping higher and higher. And I was tired of being tired no matter how much I slept. And I had a husband, I had twin daughters to look after, and I just realized one day that if I can't show up for myself, I won't be able to show up for the people that I love. And that is when I made the decision that something has to change. But it seemed as though there was no one that can help me. It was, you sign up at the gym. I was going to the gym. I was going to the gym 6 days a week. I was doing only cardio, but that was what I knew how to do. But you sign up at the gym, you sign up with a personal trainer. They give you a meal plan that's rather generic, and you do an exercise program. But you still don't see the results. And I just felt there was something more that had to be done. And of course, my emotional state was very bad, which happens if we feel bad all the time. You can't expect to be in a good mood if you're waking up every morning and struggling to get out of bed. And I think the biggest step I took was to take control of my nutrition. And I started by eliminating most of the processed foods I ate. Unfortunately, I'm going to say 80 to 90% of the foods we get on our supermarket shelves nowadays are highly processed foods. And I started there, and I just graduated further. And as my body started changing, my mental health, my emotional health, everything started changing until I came to the realization that this is very much a holistic thing. This is not just we focus on a training program and we focus on a diet and now all your problems are solved. This is something that needs to be approached from all angles, because every person is different and every person responds in a different way. And that is where Level Up was born. And my desire is to help people to move to the next level and do it by integrating daily habits that can assist them in leading a sustainable lifestyle.
That's a very inspiring journey. Thank you so much for sharing it. And it's also very, I think the different struggles you overcame and finally landed up in building this, something that worked for you, and now you're giving this um, opportunity for everyone else to get better. I think that that journey is particularly very inspiring. On that, I mean, just curious to understand what are the typical clients you like to work with at Level Up, and if there are any success stories that just struck your mind that you would like to share, that'll be really great to hear.
Sure. I typically work with middle-aged people, especially most of my clients are women who are experiencing the symptoms around perimenopause and menopause. However, I work with people of all ages and sexes who have made that decision to improve their health and their well-being. I'm an advocate for preventative health mostly. So I'm going to say the client that stands out for me is actually my ex-husband. He was a habitual drinker who turned into an alcoholic, and for 10 years of his life, from his late 30s until his late 40s, it literally seemed as though he was trying to drink himself to death. He was a social drinker. He was out drinking weekends, some weeknights, and still, just to give you an idea, he still managed to drink up to 36 bottles of rum a month at our home when he was not out visiting friends. So that's a lot of alcohol to consume. However, besides the alcohol consumption, he was leading a very healthy lifestyle. I mean, he was married to a health coach, so we can expect that. He was consuming a very healthy diet. He was an active league squash player, so he was playing squash 5 to 6 times a week. The only thing was the alcohol consumption, but that was a huge amount of alcohol. And in 2021, he decided that he wants to sober up and he is now going to leave the alcohol. And that is when the doctor decided to send him for a full medical evaluation. This included liver and kidney function, a test that you won't usually do. He went for the medical screening and the results that came back were absolutely mind-blowing. He doesn't have high blood pressure. He doesn't have cholesterol. He isn't pre-diabetic. He has no indication of diabetes type 2, his liver function, his renal function, his heart function. There's absolutely nothing wrong. And even the doctors were amazed because as his doctor told him he should have diabetes. With the amount of alcohol that he consumed, he should really not be a healthy middle-aged man. And I'm convinced that it is his lifestyle and the fact that his nutrition and his physical activity, he was moving his body. And I'm convinced that his lifestyle led to the fact that he could avoid serious health issues. Obviously, this is not anything I'm going to recommend to anyone else, but I think it proves, it's evidence that your health style as a whole is going to have a major impact on your health and on the way that you age and your quality of life in the future.
Wow, that's really surprising and also a great journey to share. And that shows the importance of having a routine and basically eating a little bit of healthy and maintaining an active lifestyle. The benefits it can have are really, really compounding. and definitely sounds like a great story to share about one of your clients. I think you did mention a lot of your personal experiences shaped up to building Level Up, and you also see a need for a lot of people being benefited from it. Can you share how some of your personal experiences led to building Level Up, and what value does a client, let's say someone typically signs up to work with you, how does the process look like, and what are the different milestones you typically work with? If there's any pattern or any learnings you've seen so far, that would be great to understand.
So, what my personal experience taught me is that no two people are the same. We are all different. So, what works for your sister is not necessarily going to work for you. And someone else might be doing exactly the same as you, but they'll see these different results in a different time frame. But the basics stay the same for most of us. In the end, it all comes down to our daily habits and to building habits that we can do consistently so that they are sustainable. It's not like a sprinting race that's going to end. This is a lifelong journey that you are going to work on every single day. So habit transformation is a great deal of what I work on. I try and integrate habits. I work with my client that fits into their specific schedules, their specific likes and dislikes, and which aligns with their values and their beliefs. Otherwise, they are not going to stick to us. I don't have a set coaching program for this specific reason because every client is different. I meet my client where he or she is at this moment, and we do assessments, which are mostly forms which they fill in. And during my online sessions that I have with them, and then we take the issue that stands out the most at that time, and we tackle that issue. And we start working on the habits around that issue. Say, for instance, I have a client who is struggling to sleep. Then we will go and we will look at the habits and the basic sleep hygiene around that person's sleep. And it comes down to integrating tiny habits one at a time. I am convinced that confidence is built through the process of achievement. So as we take a small step, we celebrate each victory. And when the client is comfortable in moving further, then we move on, we add something else. And by doing that over a period of time, we are building new habits on top of the habits that are already establishing and incorporating this into the client's lifestyle.
Got it. I think you did mention a lot of emphasis on habits and building those sustainable micro habits that help them or compound them in the long run. But sticking to a habit is hard. I think just being consistent, being motivated every day to just do it gets incredibly hard. And how has your experience been while dealing with clients? Did you find it easy, hard, or if so, what are some of the things that you did to make sure that they are motivated throughout the journey?
Firstly, is to assess what the client is ready and willing and able to do. If they are in a position where something's going to be difficult to incorporate into their lifestyle, we will move that aside for a bit. So if a client feels ready to start working on something, and if they are able to do so, we'll start by taking a tiny step. And for some people, within a week, they say, "Oh, I'm comfortable with doing this. Can we add on?" Other people take a bit longer. But like I say, confidence is bred through the process of those small victories. So imagine I say we start with you setting a set bedtime and waking time every single day. And this includes weekends. And after 2 weeks, the client says, wow, look at me. I'm going to bed 9 o'clock every evening and I'm getting up 6 o'clock in the morning. I've never been able to do this today. Now that client is feeling motivated. That client is feeling excited. And I'm like, yes, are you ready to add something to this? The client is, I'm ready. So they stay motivated through this process of accomplishment. Every week they can see. And I have a biofeedback, a Google form, which they fill in for me every single day. So if the client comes to a point and he says, I feel like I'm stuck. I've been doing this, and I just seem as though I'm not moving forward. I say, okay, let's go 4 weeks back and we go and look at your biofeedback form. What has changed? And then usually they will say, oh, wow, 4 weeks back, I didn't have a set bedtime. I didn't have a bedtime routine. I was waking up all hours during the night, and now I'm sleeping through. I'm getting 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. Now I can see that there has been a lot of progress, which I just forgot about. And that keeps them motivated, is this feeling of accomplishment, seeing that I know I'm working on tiny things, but I'm winning every week. And that helps to keep them motivated. I hope that makes sense.
Of course it does. And I think, yeah, just building those small, tiny habits that when they achieve that, they are excited to push and move it to the next level. I think this is how I think even uh, just those micro goals rather than setting extremely high unrealistic goals often helps you at times. I do have a follow-up question on this. There are a couple of things that are something that you have to actively do. Let's say you have to drink specific amount of water every day or get so much of protein. Those are the things that you could control a lot. But things like stress, sleep, and your recovery from physical fitness, those are things that you have very little control about on how quickly you can fall into sleep. But everyone, I mean, points a lot about a good sleep is very important. So what are the things that you do to integrate some of these a slightly difficult habits or a routines to follow every day?
Um, like I say, a lot comes back to the habits that a person has around something. Say, for instance, it's a person who's struggling with stress, who has high stress levels. People seem to be unaware of what they are doing. So a lot of my coaching, and that's also the reason for the biofeedback, which they fill in every day, is to make a person aware of what he is actually doing and what he is thinking and what he is consuming, and the effect that consumption, be it food or be it his social media feed or what he listens to, what that effect has on him physically and emotionally. If it comes to something like stress management, for instance, I I have a question, my biofeedback, that goes that asks about how are you handling stress? What is your mood? That is something they fill in each day. And sometimes a client will say to me, I'm feeling extremely stressed. I have anxiety and I'm just not feeling comfortable. And I'll say, but what did you do last night? And people come to me and they say, oh no, we binge watched action movies last night before we went to bed, or even horror movies. And then I'm like, I can understand why you are feeling stressed. I'd be feeling stressed as well. And it's just making people aware of what they are doing. And the fact that what we are looking at, what we are listening to, what we are eating and drinking, all has an effect on our holistic well-being. So it starts with generating that awareness. And the moment the client becomes aware, he himself realizes that I have a few very bad habits. which is in no way contributing in a good way to my well-being, I need to change something. And then we can start looking at those habits and we can start breaking them up and changing them for the better. And I think that is just the best way of integrating my coaching. It doesn't matter what area of health we're talking about. If we're talking about emotional wellness or mental well-being or physical well-being, it all comes down to creating that awareness with the client and then addressing the habits that go around that problem that they are experiencing. Does that answer your question?
Of course it does. We're going to jump gears a little and wanted to understand a little bit about what would your advice be to, let's say, someone just starting to be a coach, be it either in giving a fitness plan or giving a nutrition routine to their clients, or trying to find a niche. What would your advice or recommendation be to anyone just starting right now?
Well, for anyone new, I think it's important to realize that your niche should preferably include that client who you enjoy working with the most. Not necessarily the one who's going to pay you the most or the one who's going to keep you busy for the less amount of time, but the person you enjoy working with the most, because this is something that you need to be passionate about. This is the rest of your life. And when starting out, I think it's very important for new coaches to realize that you need experience. Before you choose a niche and start advertising for a niche, you need experience. So coach whoever crosses your path, whoever comes your way, whoever wants to be coached, just coach them. Don't get stuck on making money. The money will come when you have the experience. Just focus on the experience. And you're not going to get clients if you're not putting yourself out there. If you have the social media feed and you putting an ad on social media once a week saying, this is what I do, you won't get clients. You need to get visible. You need to get out there. You need to tell people what you do. You need to tell people, look, I'm just starting out and I need clients. Coach them, I'm not going to say for free, because people who are coached for free are usually not very committed, but give them a half price offer, just anything just to get that experience. And I think something that most people forget or most people are too proud to do is don't be afraid of asking for help from your peers. You are not going to be criticized by someone who is doing more than you for the simple reason that that person knows exactly where you are because he started there as well. That person is going to want to help you, because now in asking for help, you are showing a willingness to learn and you are showing a humility, and people appreciate that from you. So also, if you are consulting someone with experience in the industry, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and a lot of fruitless efforts, because that person will help you to not make the same mistakes as they made originally. And once you have the confidence and the experience that comes with coaching a couple of clients, I think your niche market will automatically manifest itself in your mind. It might not even be the niche that you originally had in mind, but in coaching a number of people, you are going to realize that this is the market I want to coach. These are the people I feel need the most help, and these are the people I feel I have the confidence to help. And I feel passionate about providing a service to this market. And ideally, that would be your niche market.
Got it. Often I think people very much underestimate the power of asking for help and reaching out. But
Yes.
I hope with this advice, more and more people reach out and ask for help. And I think then just wanted to understand on the last few things are what are some of the misconceptions people have when they're either just starting out their fitness journey, and what have you seen were the most common ones, and how have you addressed them?
I think the most common misconception is the fact that I have to do everything at once. I have to have this strict meal plan. I have to have this strict training program, and I need to go to the gym 5 or 6 days a week and do cardio, and I have to drink so much water. And people think this is how we start. And we start by jumping in the deep end. But the reality of that is that people get overwhelmed. And if they even make it to week 3, they're not going to likely make it a lot longer than that because they just take on way too much that than they are capable in doing. I think when it comes to fitness, the most common misconception I run into is the fact that we need to do cardio every single day. Especially women of my age, we were raised with this concept of doing multiple sessions of cardio every single week, and they are just still stuck in that mindset. So go to the gym every day and spend an hour on the treadmill, and like I said, comes week 2, then maybe you don't go every day anymore, but only 2 days, and come week 3, then you just don't go anymore. And the fact is that for most sedentary people, just moving their bodies has a fantastic effect on their body. I think non-exercise activity is highly underrated. So I encourage my clients as soon as they sign up to start increasing their step count. And a lot of my clients have seen amazing results just by getting off the couch and starting to move. And another misconception is around weight training. As I encourage my women clients, especially, to start building muscle mass, and all of them, yes, but I don't want to be bulky. And I tell them, I do bodybuilding competitions, and I promise you, chances of you becoming bulky without using performance enhancing drugs is like 0. It's not happening for you, especially if you're 50 years old. So that's a misconception I have to address with most of my clients. If it comes to nutrition, there are too many to even mention. We currently have sit with social media with the social media influencers who have hundreds of thousands of followers, who are spreading fear around food and a lot of misconception and false information. So I always tell my clients that nutrition is not supposed to be complicated. It is supposed to be simple. Keep it simple, don't overthink it, and just stick to the basics. Because if you are going to go and sit on social media, this one's going to tell you not to eat oats because it contains phytic acid, and this one is going to tell you not to eat any carbs because you're going to get glucose spikes. And I encourage my clients to move off social media and not listen to everyone, and really just keep it simple, because the misconceptions in the nutrition field are many.
You're absolutely right on that. I think the influencer knowledge is picking up a lot, and everyone just follows some random blind video. Oh, I saw this on Instagram. She's doing this, she's doing that, and get influenced by it. But very few people who share genuine knowledge that can not just get them likes, but also help them in their everyday world. So practical advice, I think it's always best to have a coach who can guide you in an everyday life rather than just giving you off the shelf information.
Yes, definitely. I think today people think they look at someone's social media and see this person has 600,000 followers. In other words, he has to know what he's talking about. But the reality is that they are spreading controversial and
Mm.
sensational posts, which attract
Yeah,
viewers, but they aren't necessarily scientifically based.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you, SC. These were the questions that we wanted to just get your advice on, and thanks for answering them and being very patient. I know we did go through a lot in such a short time. But yeah, these were the things I wanted to just get your advice on. Any closing thoughts you have that you would like to share?
Like you said, I think there's great value in having a coach. Investing in yourself is going to be the best decision you are going to make, not only for yourself, but for your loved ones as well. And I think as coaches, we have to remember that our roles are not just there to provide a service. We have people who are entrusting their money to us, but also their wellness. And it's learning to think past the fact that I'm only earning an income, but that I am providing a service. I think before every coaching session for us as coaches, it's necessary to take a moment and just think about our intention in what we are doing today and what we would like to do for this client, what we would like the client to walk away with. And I know a lot of coaches become impatient with their clients because clients do come with many excuses, or they don't show up for these sessions. But just to bear in mind, these are human beings too. And the fact that you have it all down and it's easy for you because it's part of your routine to go to the gym and to work out and to have big muscles, it's not the same for that person. For that person, this is a totally a new world. So they are going to go through stages where it's going to be difficult for them, and just to reach out to your clients and to treat them with empathy and just a kindness and an understanding, because that's how we build trust with our clients. And in the end, the client that trusts you is the client who's going to walk away with a good experience and with the best results.
Thank you for this. Yeah, I think empathy and being kind to people who are putting in effort is very, very important. Will probably just go a long way, not just helping them get a better client, but also just be a better coach at the end of the day. Uh, thank you so
Yes,
much for
I think at the end of the day, we want to build confidence. We want our clients to build confidence and to become
yeah,
a better version of themselves.
of
Ultimately,
course,
that is our role as coaches.
of course, of course.